Hey guys, it's Troy coming at you with another video from the City of London. So what is the most important masculine trait as far as dating is concerned? And I would argue as far as life in general is concerned. Well, you could say it's implacability, but a more popular way of characterizing it would be stoicism. Okay, so I think stoicism is the most important masculine character trait that you can have as far as dating is concerned. And I mean, we don't need to go into the history of stoicism here. I mean, obviously it's a multi-layered topic. There are many different takes on it, theories about it, and so on and so forth. Let's just go with a very, very sort of generalized overall understanding of what it is. And as I said, implacability, I think, is a good way of putting it into a nutshell, right? You want to be unconcerned, whatever happens, all right? And you want to be emotionally in control to the greatest extent that you can be, whatever happens, okay? And that means even if, the relationship is on the skids or it has to end, you still have to retain that stoicism, you still have to retain that implacability. But before you get to that stage, before you get to the disaster zone, you have to showcase those qualities anyway, because otherwise she's just going to, she's not going to find you very attractive, because what women find attractive are guys who are able to control themselves emotionally, who have that kind of strength, that kind of groundedness, that kind of that centeredness, okay? Because women, as we know, tend to be very driven by emotion, and she doesn't really want a guy who's just flapping around and driven by emotion as well. She wants somebody who's got a bit more of a solid center, okay? He is the mast, and she is, gripping to the mast, as it were. So stoicism, I think, is hugely important. Now, it's not easy, right? Because the reality is that as much as we could all talk the big talk online about, masculinity and all this kind of stuff, the reality is that the guys are human beings too, and we have feelings and we have emotions, and we also get buffeted around by them. Plus, on top of that, we're probably kind of somewhat soft these days because of the way that we've been brought up and the way modern society is. So, we're not doing ourselves any favours here. But it's not the case that men don't have emotions, men don't feel things. They absolutely do, and in some cases, maybe they feel things more than women. I mean, how would you know, right? You need to do some neurological scans or something. But men have emotions, men are buffeted around, but you have to act like you're not. Or you have to develop strategies to not react emotionally, even when your impulse or inclination is to do so, okay? And the classic things that people always suggest, and they are a good idea, is things like going to the gym, lifting, doing a combat sport, obviously coupled with eating right, making sure your testosterone levels are on point, getting enough sleep, getting enough vitamin D, sunshine, all that kind of thing, right? You want to be living a balanced, I say healthy, I mean, I'm not sure I'm the greatest paragon of that, but you want to be living a balanced lifestyle, ideally, where you are at the center of your world, and there is emotional balance around that. And I suppose fundamentally, James Tusk always talks about this, you love your own company, and you know that regardless of what happens, you're going to be fundamentally okay, all right? I think actually, going off into a bit of a segue here, but I think actually a problem for a lot of dudes is that they're fundamentally not that comfortable with being alone. They're not that comfortable with their own company, and that is difficult, because if things hit the fan, you break up with somebody dumps you, whatever, that's going to be tricky, right? Now, I'm not saying that if you are happy with your own company, you do love your own company, it's going to be super easy, because that's not true either. But it's certainly going to be easier, okay? And I think this is why people talk about, before you've got to love yourself before you can love somebody else and all that kind of thing. I mean, I've never really entirely known what that means, but I think one way of interpreting it is that you've got to love yourself, because if the shit hits the fan, which it frequently, it often does in relationships, you need to be all right coming out the other side, and you need to have that self-respect and that groundedness in yourself that's communicated to her, so that she retains and feels attraction towards you, okay? Let me know what you think. Hope this one makes sense. I think it's a little bit of a philosophical one here, but I do think that stoicism, if you had to pin it down to one specific character trait or mode of being, I think it would have to be stoicism. So let me know what you think. Hit the like button, put a comment below. Hit subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notifications bell so you know when new videos are coming out, which is pretty much every day at the moment. And if you want to work with me, email me, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and put your WhatsApp details in the email, and we can jump on a quick call to discuss options. See you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.